Welcome to Pop Culture Roulette for all your pop culture needs. We're America's podcast. Welcome, everybody. I'm Nicholas. I'm joined by always getting his trophy stolen, Jeremy, and threw a no-hitter but still lost, Justin.
Story of my life.
Did you hear about that today?
I did.
Just happened, Jeremy.
No.
The Cincinnati Reds, who I believe Justin and I discussed on last week's episode, or at least maybe outside of the recording, are off to historically one of the worst starts in baseball history.
And they just took two, and they just took 2 or 3 from the Brewers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
There's the sad emoji.
They managed to throw a no-hitter today, which is pretty impressive for a team that is 9-26. But they did something that they're the 6th team ever to do it. Throw a no-hitter and still manage to lose.
So how does that happen?
In the 8th inning, they walked the bases loaded. So they walked 3 guys on, and then the next guy up hit into a fielder's choice.
Okay.
So it didn't count as a hit, but the run scored 1-0. It was at Pittsburgh. So Cincinnati came up, didn't do anything in the top of the 9th, game over. So it will not go down as an official no-hitter. Because that's just how your season's going.
That's shitty.
That's
how life as a Reds fan.
I do feel bad for the Reds. Did we talk about this on the podcast last week, Jeremy?
Just like hating on the Reds, or
not necessarily hating on being a Reds fan.
Not that I really recall.
Okay. I'm asking you because you're the one who was forced to listen to what Justin and I talked about.
Yeah, it just all starts to blend together after a while, though.
But I don't remember what we talked about when we weren't recording. So the Reds, like I said, are 9-26. It's one of the worst starts in Major League Baseball history. They have just an absolutely pathetic team. It's no fault of the guys that are on the field. They are doing the best that they can. It's not like the players are the ones to be blamed here. But the fans are showing up wearing the paper bags or just not showing up. They have one of the worst league attendances, and the fans are rightfully upset because 2 years ago they were in the playoffs, 3 years ago, just recently. I mean, they had what looked to be a pretty decent team, and then they just started selling out from underneath them. And so the general manager of the team was, I can't quote him exactly because I don't have it in front of me, but basically the reporter was like, what do you tell the fans when you are clearly not trying and you're not putting anything on the field? And he goes, well, what are we supposed to do? We don't have the money, but if they keep whining, we might just have to move the team. How about you sell it, man? Like that's I think what you should do. Like, clearly you suck as owners. Like,
yeah.
Give it to someone who wants to invest.
I mean, this is a conversation that I know we've had on various different incarnations of the podcast or just outside. I truly think there should be a way, and I know there is in some respects, but when a franchise is as bad as the Reds have been for as long as they've been, there should be a way that Major League Baseball steps in and goes, you don't get to own this team anymore. You have to sell it. Like, you forcibly must sell the team to somebody else. Same thing with football, same thing with basketball, hockey. Like, if you have an owner that has no interest in winning and no interest in putting at least a competitive team on the field, like, they should be forced to sell.
That's fair.
I do like that. I know basketball has the minimum salary cap. Does football have the minimum salary cap?
Yeah, there's a vet minimum in football.
Right. So at least, oh well, and I mean, you look at football outside of Detroit, you have,
I'd say Washington.
well, but even them, like I mean, in the last like 5 or 6 years, I think almost every team has made the playoffs at least once. I mean, you had the Bengals in the Super Bowl this year, and 4 years ago they had the number one draft pick 3 years ago. So I mean, they were terrible.
When
So
were
I mean,
when were the Jaguars in the AFC Championship?
oh, I mean that's been in the last 20 years, but I mean,
That's been within the last 10, right?
yeah, but I mean, there's more parity in football, and I think it has something to do with the fact that there's a salary cap on both sides. You have to spend this much. You can't spend more than this much. It forces them to stay a little bit more competitive. And the baseball owners, the whole thing with the lockout this offseason, the baseball owners have done it to themselves. I mean, listen, I love Mike Trout, and I think he's worth every dime. But the Angels spent way too much money on one player. They're going to spend way too much money on Shohei Ohtani. I don't want to see either one of those guys play with a different uniform on than an Angel uniform. But there needs to be a level where you're just like, no, like just no, we're not doing it anymore. Yeah. You don't need that much money. Like, yes, we understand that you're good, but you just don't. Like,
right. I mean, NFL's the same way with some of their big ass contracts.
I mean, same thing with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, I don't want to see him ever put on a jersey other than a Packer. But at the end of the day, like, you have to be able to put a competitive team on the field. And if you're spending all of it on one player,
yeah, then they just don't need it.
No. And you do wonder with the Reds, like, they're spending a lot of money on Joey Votto, who is an amazing player, possibly Hall of Fame. But how much would they have gotten if they had not signed him to the mega deal? But now, granted, his mega deal is not near the level of like Juan Soto's or some of those guys. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. I know if we keep talking about sports, we'll lose Jeremy. So
he's just along for the ride.
I'm here.
Unless it's about video game football. I know he is. Okay, what do we got here?
Well, if they would stop cheating in Madden, we wouldn't have that big of a problem.
It's true.
All right, well let's just continue on this like let's be mad about everything world. Jeremy, I know you like Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
It's a great show, right?
Hell
it.
Yeah.
Justin, have you watched it?
First couple episodes.
Okay. Well, it's canceled.
Oh no. You gotta be kidding me.
Nope. They canceled it.
I have few interests in life.
This week was a bloodbath when it comes to TV shows. Not a lot of ones that we care about. Because I don't think any of the three of us care about the new Magnum PI.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I mean, MODOK. I know Justin watched MODOK.
I liked it.
Yeah. Canceled. Gone.
Should have played a new segment of Would You Cancel It?
You know how we've talked about the CW shows and have wondered out loud like how they're still on the air?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, CW finally figured out that they shouldn't be. They pretty much canceled everything.
Oh my god.
Batwoman, Legends of Tomorrow, like the 100, like basically everything on the CW network except like the Flash, and I think Lois and Clark. Like the CW is just like
canceled. The CW is canceled.
Yeah, CW basically. I guess that because the CW is owned by a bunch of different networks, kind of like Hulu, and I guess some networks are trying to pull out. They're trying to sell it. So, like, basically, it was just like everything's done. Like they're done.
Is that I don't know if it's a CW show, but is that Powerpuff show officially done? No rewrites, no nothing. It's just garbage.
They I just saw recently they're claiming that it's not, but they're like they said that the pilot was so bad that they had to reshoot it, like completely from the ground up.
So it's not, but it is.
And then they were like, "But we'll get back to you on when we're actually going to reshoot it and film the new stuff."
Didn't a couple people?
So
Didn't a couple of the actresses pull out?
I know, I think at least one of them did. I think Donald Faison, who was also supposed to be in it, I think he pulled out. But I think he pulled out to go do Legends of Tomorrow, because he was Booster Gold for like one episode on Legends of Tomorrow, and then they canceled that show. So he's probably available again.
Oh, Donald Faison.
But yeah, no, yeah. If you want to watch, if you want to see the bloodbath that was network TV this week, go to whatever website handles that stuff, and like, yeah, it's bad. There's a lot of network shows that got canceled.
TVbloodbath.com.
There should be one, but I don't think there is.
See if that's available.
Well, this is half good, half bad. And Jeremy, you're gonna have to tell me what your feelings on it is.
Okay.
Gotham Knights, getting ready to come out.
Yeah.
But the Xbox One and the PS4 versions have been canceled, so it's only coming out next gen.
Okay.
So me with the PS5, I'm
right.
okay.
You got the PS5 and you got the Series X.
Yeah.
You guys get to play Gotham Knights. I don't have one. Because when I was given the opportunity of buying a Series X or buying a new laptop, I chose the podcast and I bought a new laptop.
Oh, what a fool you've been.
So yeah, I don't know. Has the next gen consoles been out long enough now that we should be living in a world where big games like that are not on the old systems anymore?
Have they been out about a year?
Yeah.
Because I remember the PS5 coming out around Black Friday, which would be November. Yeah, they might be out for about a year now. Maybe. I don't think we're at the point where we should be not doing anything on PS4 or Xbox One.
Well, because
Yeah.
I remember the whole reason I bought the Xbox One or was given the Xbox One for Christmas was because well, another Batman game with Arkham Knight. It's like, I can't play Arkham Knight. I want this game and then so my wife gave me the Xbox One for Christmas that year, and I was able to buy Arkham Knight and Rise of the Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, whatever Tomb Raider game it was.
Yeah.
Looks like I'm gonna have to do the same thing. Finally break down. So maybe this year for Christmas I'll get a Series X and finally be able to play Gotham Knights. But
They need to stop making Batman games because then you got to buy the new systems.
or
they did that with Batman VR too.
yeah, but I never played that one, or nor did I ever care to because I have no interest in VR.
Yeah, VR is fun.
I feel like there's a reason that VR does not get the support, or did not get the support that it, a lot of other systems or other things got. Xbox never really moved into VR at all.
No, PlayStation's VR's it's got some pretty fun games out on it.
But is it gotten the support that?
No,
Yeah,
not like Oculus and some of the other stuff.
Yeah, and Oculus was like smart enough to go in another direction and try to compete with Xbox and PlayStation. So
Yeah.
all right. How about this? Since I've been just nothing but cancel. Let's start it back up on a high note. Sonic 3 has been greenlit.
I had a feeling that it would be based
Um,
on that post-credits scene.
Well, based on the post-credit scene and based on the fact that it made a lot of money.
Yeah.
I guess the rumor is also that Paramount Network is going to be doing a Sonic series. They
Wow.
didn't say whether it's going to be an animated one like the old Sonic or if it's going to be related to the movies. I think Knuckles is supposed to be getting his own spin-off movie, or
As
maybe
long
he's
as long as they bring back Jaleel White.
Fuck yeah.
explain.
He was the voice of Sonic in the cartoons.
Ah, okay. I did not know this.
Oh, yes. Sonic in the original cartoons was voiced by Urkel.
Okay.
It's awesome.
I never watched the original cartoon.
I liked them. I haven't watched them since they were probably out. So I don't know if they hold up. Like if we went back and watched them again, if we would think they were any good.
Yeah, they probably suck.
Yeah.
But
But in my mind, in our minds, it's still a good cartoon.
When was the Sonic cartoon made?
I want to say early 90s.
yeah, that sounds right. I remember watching them.
Mid 90s.
I used to watch them before school when I was a kid.
I feel like
In
if
the
it was
morning.
early mid 90s, I would have
Let me
What
see.
Sonic cartoon. Okay, here we go.
93 was the first episode, lasted for 2 seasons.
Oh, somehow missed that. All right, well,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Early 90s, early mid 90s, 93, 94.
so Jaleel White was doing Urkel and Sonic at the same time.
And Sonic the Hedgehog.
Wow.
Huh. Interesting.
Hell of a run.
All right, this story might be more for me. I was excited to hear it. I don't know how either of you feel about this movie.
Right.
Have either of you seen This Is Spinal Tap?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel about said movie?
It's funny. I like it.
It has its moments.
How do you feel about getting a sequel this many years later?
Unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, not like, oh my God, I got to rush out and go see it. But
When did that movie come out?
Early 80s?
So you can't poo-poo on Top Gun if you're gonna.
No, I'm gonna say the same thing I said about Top Gun. What movie did I just put a thing on Facebook about? They were doing a 30-year-old sequel for.
oh,
I can't remember what it
I
was.
just I have it on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember.
I mean, listen.
Avatar's got to see.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah, Avatar. Okay.
I didn't see the first one. I see the second one.
Uh,
I did see Fern Gully though, so I know the story.
Ah.
funny guy. Watch Avatar.
Live action Fern Gully.
I don't know. I love Spinal Tap. I think that's a brilliant movie. I do wonder though, like getting all of those guys who are, oh man, I don't know how old they are now, but they are all got to be in their late 60s, early 70s, maybe even in the 80s to do a movie. And they said all the original cast is going to come back. Like it's all them. Like they're not recasting anybody. So I guess the idea of it is the band is getting back together for like a final show. Like this is going to be the last Spinal Tap show. So the director of the documentary is coming back to do a documentary about the last Spinal Tap show. And I guess the band was not happy about the documentary in the first place. And so it's going to be, but, because I know that those guys have done a lot of actual concerts as Spinal Tap. They did an episode of The Simpsons as Spinal Tap. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I'll watch it because I mean it's really good. But again, Zoolander, Anchorman, there's not a good history with comedies of 20 plus years waits in between.
Yeah.
That's true.
When did Spinal Tap come out? It is Spinal, because I know the first time I saw it, 1984. So by the time the movie comes out, it will be 40 years old. 40.
40-year difference.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But whatever. I mean, not going to turn it down.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
I don't necessarily know that's when I'll go to in theaters, but
I have a
watch it
feeling
on a
that's going to
streaming
be.
service.
Yeah, I feel like that's going to be a streamer. I feel like that's going to be an HBO one or Paramount Plus or some. I don't think they're going to try to put a lot of money into promoting that one to get people to go to see it in the theaters. Like,
Right. That's going to be one where you're surfing through the streaming networks to be like, oh, this came out.
Yeah.
Might as
So
well
I'm
watch
sure-
it.
I'm sure whatever streamer gets it will run, a big campaign about we've got Spinal Tap for the final show. Like like Firestarter came out this weekend, and they're like, you should come see Firestarter in the theaters. And I'm just like, why? When I could just watch it at home on Peacock,
I don't know which one it's on.
Paramount or Peacock. One of the P streamers that I have. Like, why would I spend money to go see it when I
P-Stream.
can just
You can just
All right.
P-stream it.
Okay. So we talked about it a little bit last week. Do we get to give a full-on review of it this week? Doctor
I saw
Strange-
it.
Okay.
I went today. And
Did you
saw
see it?
I
Okay.
did. I went and I buy my tickets always ahead of time, like we all do. I think we all do that now.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Got to the theater, went into the show and everything, and there's people in my seats.
Uh-oh.
And I would probably say, because I went, it was about 11:30 this morning. I would guess 80% of the theater was empty. So at that point, I was like, do I even say anything or do I just pick a seat more in the middle? So I just went and took a different seat. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
But yeah, I was annoyed, but at the same time, I was like, well, there's not a lot of people here. So
Right. So why bother?
yeah, I'll just go sit more towards the middle on the top.
Okay, so I feel like I'm gonna now that we've seen it, well, all three of us have seen it. We threatened last week to give a spoiler-filled review. Spoiler, spoiler, spoiler. Now, from here on out, it's your fault if you hear something you don't want to hear.
I mean, it's their fault if they hear something they don't want the minute they turn this podcast on.
That's true. I mean,
Yeah.
We've never been shy about spoilers.
well, I mean, we were a little bit last week, but more out of deference to Jeremy than it was our listeners.
Oh, I
But-
appreciate that.
Because I believe I even said it was like, I would feel bad about making Jeremy listen to all these spoilers when he's editing the episode together.
Yeah.
So, all right. So my story last week, now I can give a full, better version of it. I walk into the Burlington Theater has the 4 screens. They have the big screen. I walk in thinking that's the screen that I'm going to see the movie in. Right when Doctor Strange is being walked into the Illuminati, and Baron Mordo is like, Captain Carter, Captain Marvel, Reed Richards, and John Krasinski shows up, and then they're like, and then you hear the Patrick Stewart, we should tell him the truth, and then in the yellow Professor X mobile comes out, and I'm like, there's no way they're starting the movie this way. Holy shit. No. And I sat down and I had like one bite of popcorn. They cut to the scene of Scarlet Witch and Wong talking, and I'm like, nope, I missed some stuff. Oh shit, there's another screen at this movie theater. I got up, I go down to my movie, and they're still in the trailers, and I'm like, yep. So the ultimate spoilers, the thing that I have been trying to avoid the whole time for months, I fucking did it to myself.
Yeah.
You walked in on it.
Of all the scenes,
I could not have picked a worse scene to walk into. It could have been any other scene in that movie, and it would not have ruined what it ruined for me.
Yeah, that sucks.
I have nobody to blame but myself.
True.
I'm gonna see even your cat will agree.
Well, she's biting. She's biting me right now.
So, all right. What I mean, I last week I gave it 5 out of 5. I'm sticking to my 5 out of 5 review. What do you guys?
Maybe 1.
It's all right. Yeah, like 4.5. I would agree with like what Brian Quinn said on Tell 'em Steve Dave's latest episode, where it could have been weirder, but it was still a good movie.
Well, I mean, I feel like that's as close to a straight up horror film that the MCU is ever going to be able to do.
Yeah.
I mean, even on the Disney Plus stuff where, with like WandaVision or Loki, it got kind of weird and strange. Moon Knight got a little strange there towards the end. I don't know how much stranger you can go and be mainstream. Like they can do. Like, what if you could do like they did the whole zombie episode? Like,
I didn't watch What If. But...
Oh, okay. Well, spoiler on that.
No, it's all right.
I think What If is going to allow them to do some really weird stuff.
Okay.
But I don't know if being what they are or what the MCU is, they're gonna be able to really get experimental and weird.
Yeah. I mean, I understand that they need to appeal to a broad audience, but
I just hope that that's not a one and done cameo for John Krasinski. I thought, everybody's been saying he should be Reed Richards for years now anyway.
Yeah. I think I heard something that I don't know if it's true or not, that he's supposed to be directing a Fantastic Four movie.
You know what? John Watts, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. John Watts, the director of the Spider-Man movies, dropped out. So why not? Krasinski did a really good job with both of those Quiet Place movies.
Yeah, I don't know where I heard it or if it's true or not, but I believe I remember reading that somewhere.
I had not heard that, but give him a shot. Why not? Let him do it.
Anything you see on the internet has to be true.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
So there we go.
They did actually come out and say this week that Daniel Craig was supposed to be Mr. Fantastic, where he was supposed to be Reed Richards, but because of the whole pandemic and COVID thing, when everything got rescheduled, and this movie got pushed over here and this movie got pushed over there, he couldn't do it. So then they brought in John Krasinski, which
I think is a better choice.
I do too, especially moving forward.
Yeah. Does that mean they could bring Emily Blunt in if he does do the movie?
Everybody wants that. They want her to be, Invisible Girl, But I don't know. I mean, I could, because she was originally supposed to be Black Widow. But I can't remember what movie she was on. She was in a movie that got pushed back, and she couldn't get out of it, the contract. So they hired Scarlett Johansson to take her place, and well, clearly that worked out better in the long run. But at least worked out for Scarlett Johansson. I don't know how she feels about it.
I don't know what movie she would have been doing at the time.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that was a long time ago, so I don't even remember.
You should try to reach out to her and see how she feels.
Yeah. The only one I'm thinking of that might be around that time was End of Tomorrow, that
Mm,
Tom Cruise one. That
Oh,
was
that
a
was
while
a great
back.
movie. That was awesome.
I do need to watch that. I think I
Ugh.
bought it. I think it's down in my basement.
I'll see when those two came out if they might be close.
But I mean, I know that you're a fan of the Sam Raimi directed stuff. I saw the I don't know. I feel like if you had not told me that Sam Raimi directed it, and then I walked out of that movie and they said, "All right, who directed that movie?" I would have been like, God, it feels like Sam Raimi. Like it just
Yeah.
not just because of the Bruce Campbell cameo. I mean, that was a bigger giveaway, but
Hmm.
like some of the horror elements, some of the way the zombie Doctor Strange looked, like
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it definitely felt like a Raimi movie,
Yeah.
and it was nice to see Marvel like let him do what he wanted to do. I mean, I'm sure they had a lot of input, like, this is what you can and can't, but like they didn't force characters that he didn't want to use into the movie. Like, because I mean, you go back and you watch Spider-Man 3 and you're like, he didn't want Venom in that movie because you can tell.
Hmm.
Like, Venom didn't fit in that movie. And it was like, yeah, well, he got forced.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also good to see Danny Elfman getting some work
Oh, yeah, because that guy doesn't do anything.
doing the music. That was interesting too when they had their little music battle. I don't know
Oh yeah.
what you guys thought of that scene.
Yes, that was a little weird. I mean,
Yeah.
It's not weird in a bad way. I was like, all right.
no, yeah, I mean, I like
Yeah, it's
obviously I
cool.
gave it 5 out of 5. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I A lot of people are saying that the one Doctor Strange, the evil Doctor Strange that he did the music battle with, is the one from What If. I don't think so because um, there was enough differences between the two. They definitely kind of were in the same vein, but
Hmm,
what do you think the Doctor? Not Doctor. I keep saying Doctor. I just want to say Doctor. 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 Oh,
doctor.
Professor X. Going forward, what does that mean? Where are we going with that now? Because that is the first time that any mutant has been officially used in the MCU. They still didn't call him a mutant, but I mean, he was clearly Professor X and had the mental powers, was trying to do stuff.
I don't know. I hope they start bringing in more of the X-Men. But are they going to be in both multiverse, like our world, or is it just going to be the one multiverse?
I feel like with the one credit scene where Clea shows up, um, with Doctor Strange, because Clea for all right, the Charlize Theron character is named Clea. In the comic books, she ends up becoming Stephen Strange's wife. In fact, in the recent run of the comic books, um, he dies and she takes over as Sorcerer Supreme. So I don't know what they're,
I said, but he's not Sorcerer Supreme. And
no, because Wong is. So I don't
yeah,
necessarily know if they're gonna stick to that storyline. But I feel like because she's also the daughter or the niece, or she's related to Dormammu somehow, the bad guy from the first Doctor Strange movie. And since she clearly also has the ability to travel from universe to universe because of the way she opened that portal, I feel like there might be setting up for another incursion, that word they kept using. Because my thing has been with whatever Thanos did, and now with the multiverse being opened by Doctor Strange and the fallout from the Spider-Man movie and now this one, I feel like at some point the mutants are gonna like just fall out of a portal somewhere and just like it's going to shake up everything. I don't know if you do like a Final Crisis, like to steal from DC, and you just take two universes and smash them together and go, this is the new one going forward, and then everybody just kind of has to figure out how these two universes work together. It's a way to bring characters back or change characters.
Right.
So I mean, if you did want to be like, hey, you know what, we did actually want to have Tom Cruise as Iron Man. Here, that's a thing now.
Yeah.
That they could say, or if Robert Downey Jr. is like, you know what, I'm not done. I would like to come back. There's now an opening, and a legitimate opening of not just going, he's not dead. Yeah, well, this is Tony Stark from another universe.
Right. Boom.
Right.
He's back, folks.
Yeah. So, no, I don't know. It'll be interesting going forward. I mean, they kind of built themselves in a little, get out of jail free card.
Yeah.
Because now if they do fuck up, they can just be like, oops, that happened in a different universe. Gotcha, folks.
Yeah.
That's a different, yeah.
All right.
Are they supposed to still be doing stuff with Sinister Six?
I don't know.
So where are they on that front?
I've seen some of the set photos of Kraven the Hunter. That's going to create some problems continuity wise because Aaron Taylor Johnson is Kraven the Hunter. If memory serves, I think that's right. So you're going to have to explain to Scarlet Witch why her brother is no longer Quicksilver and he's now Kraven the Hunter.
Different universe.
You are the only one of us that have seen Morbius, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Morbius takes place in the Venom universe, but not the Spider-Man universe, right?
I believe it's in the Spider-Man universe based on the after credits stuff. I want to say it's in the Spider-Man universe.
Because
I would say, do you know what the after credit stuff is in Morbius?
No, I don't. And you can spoil that one because it's going to be a long time before I see that.
Jeremy, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Whatever. I can't remember his actual name. Batman, the original Batman.
What?
Michael Keaton shows up as Vulture.
Okay.
He just appears and he says he's here. He thinks his being here has to do with Peter Parker.
Okay.
So he came into this world. So when all the other villains appeared, so did Vulture.
Okay.
So he has a scene with Morbius talking about Peter Parker and Spider-Man.
Interesting. Because I thought the after credit scene in Venom, Let There Be Carnage, was confusing.
Where he poofs away?
Yeah. Where he gets sucked into because clearly that meant to be like when all of the other villains came into No Way Home.
Yes.
Venom was supposed to be there too, but he, instead of going and fighting Spider-Man like they all did, he just got a cabana and got drunk.
Huh.
And then, in No Way Home, they sent him back,
right,
but left a little bit of the Venom symbiote there.
Yeah, the symbiote.
So I don't know. I feel like there is a way, and I think this is what they're doing, because they did it with all the CW shows when they had Supergirl over in one universe, and Black Lightning over another universe, and then Arrow, Legends, and Flash over here. They were like, this is happening, and then they smashed all the universes together so that they could all be on the same shows.
And then the CW went, you're done.
Yeah, and then the CW. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, I was gonna make a woke joke, but I'm not gonna. I'll keep going.
Yeah. So at the end of that one, they bring in Vulture, Vulture and Morbius.
So yeah, I mean, I would like to see I would like to see Disney just go, I don't care what it takes, just give us all of Spider-Man and all of Spider-Man back, because Sony clearly doesn't know how to do a Spider-Man movie, or they don't seem to understand that, like, yeah, Venom is cool, but Venom only works when he's attached to Spider-Man, like in some form or fashion. Because
Right.
two Venom movies have proven that with no attachment to Spider-Man, they're just not that good. Like Tom Hardy is great as Venom, but the rest of the movie is garbage. And from what I understand, Morbius is not too different.
Yeah, it's very dark. Not like in a sense where it's dark, but like it's shot and a lot of the filming is dark. So it's kind of hard to see what's going on with some of the stuff. So, but otherwise, I mean, I don't think it was a terrible movie. Like I said, it's kind of hard to follow with just how dark everything was shot.
That's how I felt about the new Batman movie.
I haven't watched that one yet. I have very low expectations,
I mean,
and it
there are
makes
a
me
lot of
and it
people.
makes me sad.
Oh,
There are a lot of people who really like it. There are also a lot of people like me who go, it's 3 hours too long.
So the
Like,
people who really like it are those like the younger people, or
I
the
don't,
older folks like us who have like the original Tim Burton Batmans and
I don't know. I mean, I thought that the Batman movie was dark in overly dark in tone and in color. Like it was hard to make out a lot. Like everything was shot in shadow. Um, I mean, all right. I like Seven. I think Seven is amazing. I do. I really think that director of Seven, whose name is
David
escaping,
Fincher.
David Fincher. I think David Fincher is an amazing director. Um, I don't think that David Fincher should direct a Batman movie. Matt Reeves, who did direct a Batman movie, apparently thought David Fincher should and decided to pretend like he was David Fincher. You
right.
know, because I'm still referring to Batman as Seven Part Two, but this one has Batman.
Seven with Batman.
Yeah, um, because Paul Dano was basically John Doe. Like they called him the Riddler, but he was basically John Doe. Catwoman, in my view, served no purpose. You could have cut every scene with Catwoman out of that movie and not changed a thing about how that movie ended. Um, they did so much prosthetic makeup you couldn't tell that Colin Farrell was Penguin. Um, they got so they it was almost like, other than Batman being Batman, Matt Reeves didn't want to do anything with any character. Like Penguin didn't act like Penguin, other than he was a mob boss. Riddler, I would hesitate to say what Riddler was doing was like doing crime and leaving riddles. Like it was more just like, like John Doe kind of thing. Um,
Was he leaving any
Catwoman,
trophies around the
no,
city?
I mean he wasn't leaving trophies around the city and ridiculously unnecessary puzzles to get them.
Yeah.
Um, you know, Catwoman, you didn't even have to call her Catwoman. You could have called her anything else. And, because I mean, it was just there was no connection to Selena Kyle other than she was kind of, a cat burglar. Like she didn't really wear the costume. They didn't have her in a costume. They didn't, you know.
Hmm.
I mean, the movie wasn't a bad movie. It was just like, I don't know. It wasn't what I want for a Batman movie.
Well,
I
how many
will
stars would you give this?
Batman
Yeah.
out of five,
Yeah. Okay.
two, uh, 2.25.
Okay.
So slightly below average.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still well done. I feel like Robert Pattinson has promise as Batman because he can do Batman. He did a terrible Bruce Wayne, just an awful Bruce Wayne. I mean, like Val Kilmer level bad Bruce Wayne.
Wow. Jeez. That's
Um,
rough.
I think that, the argument for who the best Batman, and we're going to get to this in a couple of weeks, is ultimately going to always come down to between Michael Keaton and Christian Bale. And because Christian Bale and Michael Keaton are the only two actors who really pulled off both really well.
Yeah.
Like Val Kilmer was a great Batman, but a horrible Bruce Wayne. George Clooney was a pretty good Bruce Wayne, but a horrible Batman.
George Clooney was just bad.
I mean, the movie was awful, awful, awful. George Clooney, when we have this argument, will be the bottom, like no hands down. Affleck, I feel it's hard for me to judge Affleck because I don't feel like he was given enough good material to do either one of them. Like he wasn't bad at either one, but he wasn't great at either one. But I think that was more of Zack Snyder not knowing what the fuck he's doing.
Wow. Are you ready for all that hate mail to come your way?
Bring it.
This hatred of Zack Snyder.
You don't direct it all at these two, Justin and Jeremy. They, send it all to me. I will fight each and every single one of you, physically or on, in email exchanges.
Perfect.
Zack Snyder is one of the most overrated directors I can't even say that. I was gonna say, he's no better than Uwe Boll, but that's just me being hyperbolic and being no better than the Zack Snyder fans. He clearly knows what he's doing as a director. I mean, he understands composition and he knows how to make a movie. He just doesn't know how to do I don't know. Like Sucker Punch looks amazing. It is a garbage script, but it looks really good.
That's what I've heard. Never seen it.
I haven't seen that one in a long time.
I think he did really well with the remake of Dawn of the Dead. I thought he did. I think that maybe is one of his, if not his best work. I thought he did a pretty good job with Watchmen. But every DC movie after Watchmen that he touched has really just the quality has gone massively downhill.
Yeah.
That's fair.
All right. So what is anybody other than Doctor Strange? What does anybody watch this week?
Oh boy.
Uh,
It's kind of a tough question.
yeah, I was trying to think of what I've watched. I
Oh.
mean, I caught up on Skinwalker Ranch.
Ooh, what's that all about?
Uh, it's like a desert area out in, I want to say Utah, where a lot of paranormal activity and stuff goes on.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was watching that. The season 3's out right now, so I'm catching up on that.
Is it like a docu series?
Kinda. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen like Curse of Oak Island or Aztec Gold. Those things where they're filming these people while they're investigating stuff.
Mm.
Oh, that's why I don't know it exists. I
Yeah.
don't like shows like that.
Yeah, you don't like your conspiracy theories.
I mean, I have listened to a couple episodes of Last Podcast on the Left when they did like a 3 or 4 part series on Skinwalker Ranch. So I'm fully aware of what it is and what they claim they see out there, but
Where they see lights and UAPs. So they don't call them UFOs.
right, because we can't call them
Ah.
that anymore. We don't want to be uncool.
Yeah, UAPs.
What's UAP?
Unidentified aerial
Phenomenon.
Phenomenon.
Oh.
I think that's the only other thing I watched.
Did any of you see that Lego and Muppets have released? They're doing blind bags for Lego Muppet minifigs.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's cool.
I did
I
not.
I have 11 of the 12.
Nice.
Nice.
Um,
How
I
long
have
did it take
everybody.
you?
Surprisingly, I
Oh,
only have
11 of the 12.
I only have 5 extras so far. Like I've done really good at pulling. You know, I have
Are they sold at the big box retail chain?
yes, the
Okay.
one that you work at.
I'll have to take a look.
Um, yeah, I have 3 sets of Statler and Waldorf.
Nice.
So I've got the set for the collection and then 2 other sets. And then I have 1 extra Kermit. But
All
it's going
right.
to be a lot harder to get them now that I don't have one. Like
Which one are you missing?
Gonzo.
Got it.
I've got everybody else. I got Rolf and Piggy and Scooter.
Animal?
No, not Scooter. Animal.
Love animal.
Beaker and Bunsen Honeydew and Fozzie and Swedish Chef. And then for some reason, Janice.
That's an odd one to include.
Right. So like you've got the entire Dr. Teeth and the Electric Mayhem band.
Yeah.
So Animal, who's clearly, like the runaway favorite of that whole series. You don't include Dr. Teeth or one of the other guys. You went with Janice. Like, it's
Yeah.
such a like of all of the extra characters that you have. I mean, hundreds of Muppets. Like, why not Sam the Eagle or you know, Walter, the newest one from the last couple movies? Like, no, Janice.
Janice.
Whatever.
Right.
And she was
Right.
like the first one I opened too, so it was kind of funny.
You open that and just all right. It's all downhill.
Uh,
Can only go up from here.
no, the wife bought me like 8, and I pulled like 7 new ones. Like first, like I only had 1 extra the first week, so I was like, wow, we're doing really well.
Gotcha.
Yes, I understand that I'm 44 and I'm getting really excited about Lego Muppets, but just deal with it. That's
Hey, I get it. I love those minifigs.
Yeah, didn't you have a bunch of those like the Simpsons and then
Oh, I was like
was it Mario? I think had them.
Mario, I think had some, yeah. And then there was just like a bunch of random like civilian figures at one
right.
point.
You were really into those for a while.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of the Sim. I don't know if I got all the Simpsons ones or not. I did. I do have a lot of them. They're in a box somewhere. Well, I know where a good chunk of them are. I don't know where all of them are.
That's what happens when you move into a house. You just kind of forget where you put things.
Yeah,
It's in a box in the basement somewhere.
that and you don't touch the stuff in the basement basically since you moved in. So
So you want to find one thing. You're like, where the hell is it?
I started watching Resident Alien, that sci-fi show.
Oh, how's that?
It's fun. I mean, Alan Tudyk is pretty funny. I'm only like on the 4th episode, so but it's interesting. It's funny.
Sweet.
So far I'd recommend it.
All right.
I watched some modern stuff this week.
Yeah.
Hey, look at you.
I'm trying to think what else I watched. Couple documentaries, nothing.
Yeah, I don't know
Nothing,
why.
nothing too new. Though.
I always have a hard time with this one. I just keep a lot of background noise on throughout my life. I don't absorb anything.
I find that I've been watching a lot of baseball since I have that MLB package. I feel like I have to since I'm paying the 150 for the year, like I feel like I have to watch at least part of every game that I can. So,
Yeah,
not a lot.
You gotta justify it to yourself.
Yeah. So I did get to watch a lot of that no-hitter that Reed Detmers threw this week, which that was an actual no-hitter that the Angels won.
Yeah.
Unlike the Reds who threw one and lost.
Yeah, I watch a lot of documentaries. and stuff.
I know that just see that's where I should have started with the joke about the Bucks, but I didn't know how painful Justin was feeling.
Oh, they
Ooh.
so terrible. Their 3-point shooting, absolute garbage.
Was
Worst in a long time in the playoffs.
that not having Chris Middleton?
I don't think it was not having Middleton. They just couldn't hit anything.
Well, I mean, just the last two games, like, was it not having Middleton there? Was that?
No, they played poor defense the last 2 games. They left a lot of wide open 3-point shooters for Boston. And then even like without Middleton, they're physically bigger than them. And they're not attacking in the paint. They're not using Lopez. Giannis is for some reason still shooting threes.
Well, this goes back to a lot of the complaints that people were having about Budenholzer before they won the title last.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that he won the title and that's going to get him a couple years, but is this one of those like he accidentally won the title and now you're going to be stuck with him for a while?
I think so.
Okay. Because, I mean, that was like when Mike McCarthy accidentally won a Super Bowl and you guys were stuck with McCarthy for a
10
decade.
years, yeah, 10 years too long. What's up, Jeremy?
I don't think they would have lost if they would have let me have locker room access. So I could have really rallied these boys. I think I'll tell you what, I would have really pumped them up.
The-
You- I don't know what joke we're trying to go with here. But
It's not a joke. I'm just telling you.
I don't either.
I really would have just fired them up. I think they would have actually won the game.
The one big problem I always had with the Celtics, even watched the whole series, is man, like every play, one of their players is on the ground.
I've been seeing that. I feel like from what I've been seeing on Twitter or just in talking to people, that's a big problem league wide. That everybody's flopping on everything now.
Yeah, I think in this postseason, Giannis, I think it was 22 or 23 offensive fouls for a charge or something like. Most of it was charges. Because every time he would hit somebody, they would throw their arms out and flop around like they just got hit by a car. Granted,
Well,
he's no small guy, but I still don't think that's the.
I saw that the last 15 seconds of the last game that the Bucks won. When I saw Drew Holiday save save it for basically the last two games, but
Yeah.
I saw Marcus Smart throw himself on the ground when Holiday came with that clean steal to like ice the game.
Oh, the half court steal?
Yeah, the half court steal. And I was like, how are you on the ground with that? Like,
He's one of the worst ones on that team. He's one of those that needs to be put on the ground. Like, if he's going to keep flopping, they need to give him a reason to be on the ground.
yeah. You know what though? They did it in hockey I don't know how long ago they did it because I'm not as well versed in hockey as a lot of other people are, but I was watching the Capitals lose to the Panthers and there was a penalty called for embellishment. One of the players like got hit and then like threw himself on the ground and like really like clearly was overreacting. And the ref was like, yeah, you didn't get hit that hard. 2 minutes embellishment. Go sit in your box and think about what you did.
Well, the NBA doesn't blow whistles for like flopping or things like that, but they will get fined. The NBA does fine players later on, like after games, for flops.
Well, they need to start calling them in the game then.
Yeah.
They need to make the punishment.
A free throw or something.
They need to make it
possession.
Or maybe they need to start suspending. Start hitting these players where it matters, the paycheck. Not make it where it hurts.
Yeah.
If you're gonna flop like an asshole,
every possession.
Well, with it down to it's the Heat Celtics versus the Warriors, and I guess the Suns Mavericks series is not over yet, right?
No, that game is going to be on soon.
Okay. Who's going to win it all?
I think it's going to be Golden State again.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I think the Heat will take out the Celtics. I feel like Phoenix is going to beat Dallas. I'd like to see Dallas go just because I don't like Phoenix. But I think it's going to end up being Golden State.
Do you think we can get Tyler Hero on the podcast?
No.
He's a local boy, so surely
true.
somebody we know knows him, right?
Dude, I doubt it.
Maybe.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I said Jimmy Butler went to Marquette, but he's from Illinois.
Well,
If
we don't
you-
want one of those flatlanders.
Yeah, if he hears what I say about it, Illinois, it's going to be out.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to be spending the week in Kansas City. And then Jeremy, you're at an anime convention next weekend.
Yeah. I'll be in beautiful Rosemont, Illinois.
So maybe
Flatlandia.
maybe we shouldn't have just spent all that time making fun of Illinois. But,
We should.
Whatever.
so we will be airing an interview next week. Also next week, or the next time the three of us are together, will be for Weird Al.
Yes.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm pretty excited for this. I'm pretty excited to see Emo Phillips as well, just because that guy's so weird. But I think I'm definitely more excited to see Weird Al again.
Again, you've seen him before?
Yeah, I've seen him. I saw him when I lived in Atlanta. I was in college. I went and saw him. And then when I lived in Florida, I went and saw him. So this will be the third time.
Third time's the charm.
Both times I saw him, he killed it. I mean, he is so good.
All right.
Anybody got anything they want to add?
I got a lot of nothing.
What's going on in the world of entertainment? Oh, well, there's that Norm Macdonald special coming out.
Oh yeah. Oh well, I mean, I love Norm. I miss him. I think he is so underrated as a stand-up.
Yeah.
I think he's the best late night, or not late night, the best news desk anchor for Saturday Night Live. That dry delivery that he had was just so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool to see. I think it's the first time that anyone's done something like this. So
Stand up? They've been doing that for a long time, buddy.
No.
So did he know he was about to die and film the special?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I know they said it was a secret thing that he filmed, but I didn't know if it was just a secret thing he filmed and then like he died and they were like, shit, did we actually release it? Or like he knew he was about to die, so
Like I think he filmed it in like when he first, like pretty early on during the sickness, and then he like stashed it away and he's like, this is like a just in case I can't like go live. And yeah.
It'll be interesting, especially if that's how he did it, because he's a weird guy, so I can only imagine what's in there.
Yeah.
But it all started with him being like, by the time you see this, I will be gone.
I know the next couple weeks for the podcast is going to get weird, because there's so many vacations coming up for at least two of us. Because after Weird Al, like,
is that why it's gonna get weird? Because we're gonna go see Weird Al.
because
Get out, Tom.
because I know there's a week and a half I'm out of town. I hope to. I think I'm actually going to be able to get to the Secret Stash and TSD Town.
Nice.
So I don't know. I know we have the one interview already. I already did. I need to get at least one more done. But I'm going to be stuck in Kansas for the week, so I maybe will be able to get something done there. So that's neither
right.
here nor there. So, all right, I guess if we don't have anything else, if you make awesome shows like Mr. Mayor and then cancel them, just remember, stupid never walks alone.
Just one.
Do you love movies of a certain age? Do you miss the days of VHS tapes and VCRs and video rental stores? Does the thought of another 80s movie being remade seem inconceivable? If you want to go back to school, back to the future, or even back to the beach, then the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast is for you. I'm Tim Williams, the creator and host, and on each episode, I'm joined by a guest co-host as we revisit a different 80s flick to discuss our first-time watch memories, iconic scenes, and even learn some behind-the-scenes stories along the way. New episodes drop every other Friday on your favorite podcasting platform. So make like a tree, get out of here, and go listen to an episode of the 80s Flick Flashback Podcast.